All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. We are here today. It is PCE day. We got economic data today. Core PCE is the big one. It drops this morning. Um, we also have Michigan consumer sentiment. We got Canadian GDP also coming out today. Uh, yeah. There's the Q. Q's really still in the same range it's been in. Spy down to 570s. S&P's getting close to lifetime highs. It's getting close. All right, guys. The Dow 30, please check. The Dow. Yeah, I don't know. All right, guys. So rally, I'm buying poor stock again. Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia's down. It's down to 123s. It dropped yesterday. It was almost to 130s yesterday, but it didn't quite make it. The Q is sitting at 488s. The SPY right around lifetime highs. Lifetime highs are right around 575, which we hit yesterday morning at the opening bell, and now we're pulling back a little bit. Supermicro and Doge. I don't know about any of those. So PCE data is expected at 0.2%. Core PCE is the big one. Regular PCE is not that important. Core PCE is the big one. Regular PCE not that important. They're both expected at 0.2% month over month. Year over year, they're expected at 2.3% for PCE year over year. They're not even showing up a year over year core PCE. Last time it showed up at expectations. Last time it showed up at 2.6%. But you can kind of see there's not that big of a disparity between these two. Supermicro semiconductors. Dow looks normal. Supermicro dropped pretty big down to 396. Why is that? I'm not sure. I didn't watch it. I didn't see why Supermicro dropped this much. Does anybody know why Supermicro is down as much as it is? Looks like a stock split. They sold shares. Or no. I'm sorry. Justice Department probing into Supermicro Semiconductor. So Supermicro Semiconductors yesterday, the 26th, it led the S&P 500 losers on the day and over the past 3 months. The Wall Street Journal reported that the server maker and AI company was being investigated by the U.S. Department of Justice. It went down 12% yesterday, enough to pace the S&P 500 index's SPX decliners. It was halted 3 times for volatility during this sell-off. Just before the paper came out, which cited unnamed people described as familiar with Supermicro Semiconductors in the matter, was trading at about 4% gains, and it was up as much as 5.7% at its intraday high of 484s. It said in an email to MarketWatch that it, quote, has no comment about the report. The report of the probe comes after the big short selling report that was published by Hindenburg Research on August 27th, alleging accounting red flags, which was then followed by the company saying on August 28th that its annual report would be delayed because it needed more time to check its accounting. On August 30th, the company said the short seller report made, quote, false and inaccurate statements about the company, included misleading presentations. So yeah, basically, Hindenburg report came out a couple weeks ago, and now the Department of Justice is probing into Supermicro Semiconductors. It's under $400. It dropped basically 20%, down from 500, close to 500, down to like 380s. It was at 480s down to 380s. It's roughly 25%. Yeah, they pushed back filing their 10K for accounting reasons. Like, essentially what that means is that the Hindenburg short report in and of itself let them know that they need to check their accounting, right? So before the Hindenburg short report, they either knew about it and just weren't saying anything and hoping it slid, or the Hindenburg report basically told them about it. And so then they pushed back their accounting 10K. Yeah, it's a big drop too, man. It's a big drop. It's not a small drop. It's a big drop. Yeah, what a big drop, man. Nvidia down on it too. It's an AI related company, so it's Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, here, I'll put it up on screen. It's probably easier. All right. Let me refresh Nvidia here, but Nvidia back up a little bit, almost up to 125s. Today's PCE data will be big. Celsius. You know, and again, did I not warn you guys about Supermicro Semiconductors? Did I not warn you guys, man? I remember prior to the Hindenburg short report and prior to all this stuff, I was very vocal about how risky it was, right? Like, you guys heard me, you know, like Supermicro Semiconductors, anything. Traders and gamblers have this really bad habit, and I'm grouping them together because I think, you know, they kind of mesh in this stock. Anytime a stock is up huge, right? Anytime a stock is up like this, a couple things happen. Number one is, like, people who rode this stock up, the gamblers involved with that are hesitant to sell. They don't want to sell, right? Why? Because they want to bet on red again. You know, they want to ride it up more. Unfortunately, whenever something's up this big of a percentage short term, especially in like the blue chip world, it almost never is going to hold, right? And anybody with eyes should be able to see that. Like, maybe it holds, it's just incredibly risky. And so, you know, one thing that we were very outspoken about prior to any of these drops happening was that Supermicro Semiconductors is already up a huge amount. People were asking me if I should buy Supermicro all right here. You know, and I remember telling them, hey, look, man, this thing's up huge. It's risky. It's just risky. Yet people hold on to it. They want to buy it up at the top. They want to, you know, gamble with it. And ultimately, it's too new of a company. I think it's new, right? I might be wrong. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it's newish. It's been around for about 15 years. So it's newish. It started to run recently in 2023, really. Prior to that, it wasn't really much. And it just got to obscene levels. It went up way too much short term. So nobody should have been buying it up after that big run. It just was never going to hold. And this is something that I don't know if I said this directly, but this is certainly what I was thinking. And, you know, I remember telling people it was risky. I know I told people that. it's big risk, big reward, and I'm not really trying to play with it. Is I think the exact like verbatim words that I used. And yeah, turned out to be a big risk. We'll put a timer up. We got an hour and 4.5 minutes. All right, so that's how much time we got left. Do you say the same for NVIDIA? No, well, NVIDIA is different. NVIDIA is simply way different. Number one, NVIDIA is much more ingrained in tech culture. Okay, anybody that understands graphics cards, microchips, all that stuff understands NVIDIA is much more ingrained in tech culture. The other thing is that NVIDIA has been running, really, NVIDIA has been around since the 90s. So that's a different company. NVIDIA has been around essentially since computers started to really take off. Versus Supermicro Semiconductors, which first really, IPO'd in 2010, so, or first really got big in 2010, so it's just different companies, the other difference is that like NVIDIA is a microchip hardware producer, Supermicro is more nuanced, and I don't know, I didn't like NVIDIA. I think there's still risks, of course, but I think the gains in NVIDIA, like you can look at the differences. So here's Supermicro, like parabolic rise, and then here's NVIDIA. So what you'll notice is that NVIDIA's rise was much less angled. Like here's Supermicro, and then NVIDIA's is kind of, so NVIDIA's is more slow and steady, wins the race, versus Supermicro, which basically, the problem with Supermicro, the real problem, like if you want to know why I really didn't want to buy it, is because the float's too small. So bad news can really negatively affect it, percentage-wise. And so the float is tiny. A stock that goes, like, look, there's a difference here. A stock that goes from $10 to $130 is one thing. A stock that goes from $10 to $1,300 is another. That's a different thing. The float's too small for Supermicro Semiconductors. The risk is too high, and it's not as ingrained in tech culture. For sure. I like hardware producers, like microchip producers, much more than what Supermicro's business model is anyway, Yeah, I'm not sure, Radical, if you're upset at me for saying this or not. I'm not saying everybody that made money on Supermicro Semiconductors are gamblers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you bought up Supermicro Semiconductors, I think you took my point out of context and misinterpreted it. What I'm saying is people who bought Supermicro Semiconductors up here, y'all are gambling. Like that thing's up ridiculously large percentages. It's a different thing. And again, I like Supermicro Semiconductors as a company, believe it or not. But one of the things that this Department of Justice, and again, I called this before any of this happened, right? Like I literally said it was risky back here at $600, $700, $800 a share, even after a pullback. But I think it's fine if you made money on Supermicro Semiconductors, and if you rode Supermicro Semiconductors up here, that's a different thing. That's not a gamble. That's just a momentum play. But I think if you bought it around the tops, that's a risky thing, and I think that's a greedy thing, and I think it's a gambly thing. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I certainly get into gambles sometimes, so I'm not even trying to sound self-righteous. Like, what do I know? Oh, it's definitely biased for sure. I just think it was predictable, right? I think this downfall in Supermicro was predictable, is the problem, and I think a lot of people got stuck in it and tried to buy the top because they were greedy and they wanted more. And that's a risky thing whenever something's up as much as Supermicro Semiconductors was. And again, this is predictable. I said this before, before the Hindenburg report. Yeah, it's just extended, is what I really said. Oh, yeah, you can ride it up and short it. I'm not mad at that. Do your thing up there, you know. I'm saying if you buy it up here, that's where it's risky. You know, basically the reason I'm saying it's a gambling, and I can explain myself here, right? Like the reason I say that's a gamble is very simple. Because anybody that watches this thing move up these huge percentages, right? When it drops a big percentage as well, you know, a lot of people jumping on board this are gamblers. Why? Because the percentage moves that this thing is making is incredibly risky. It's incredibly volatile. If you buy it right here, what's to say it's not going to drop 50% like it did? You know, and this is stuff I was saying before the downfall even happened. You know, like it's just risky. It's risky. You know, the people that are more willing to take that type of risk are usually gamblers. Now, I understand shorting it up there much more than I understand going long, because shorting a stock that's up thousands of percent is understandable, to be honest, right? Like especially a low float stock, relatively like I'm not gonna say obscure, but it's certainly more obscure than like Nvidia or something else. But I like Supermicro. I've covered the earnings. I just think it's risky. Yeah. 100% trading. He said I shorted that stock because the crowd was really greedy. 100%. I think so too. And again, it's okay. Like, listen, guys, we can agree to disagree on stocks. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just talking up my butt here. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, like I could certainly be wrong. And I think that's the nature of stocks. Like, I like certain plays. I dislike certain plays. I didn't like Supermicro Semiconductors. I thought it was risky. I thought the risk reward is not good enough, you know, for me. Tesla started to move up. Tesla almost up to 260s. Again, the SPY sitting right around lifetime highs. The float's too small for, you know, for sustainability, I think, in those type of plays. Dell's a good stock. Honest question, has the stock drop or gap up like Supermicro in minutes, then the second report comes out, who can sell or buy that fast? Algorithms can. Yeah, now there's news of a split for Supermicro. The news is Chipotle did a 50-to-1 split. Supermicro, relatively new to having a high-priced stock. Its shares traded below $100 as of April 2023. And this is the problem. It's just up so much, right? Like, that's why the reason I say gamblers is because anybody that's willing to risk more money on it going up more after it was only at $100 in April of 2023, you know, it's a year and a half ago, it was under $100. Now it's at $1,300, $1,200. That's a gamble. Like objectively, right? Like that's a gamble. It's easier for me to say this now in hindsight, though. So, you know, but again, to be fair, I wasn't quite saying the same thing before this downfall happened. But I think the terms, again, I used were that it was too risky. It was too high of risk. The risk is too high for it, right? Is what the word I used. And specifically meaning buying it was too risky up there. It's too extended. It's low float. It could pull back 30, 40%. And it did, honestly. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Trading. I appreciate becoming a member, brother. Thanks so much. And again, you and I, guys, are not going to have to agree on everything. It's okay. Right? Like, we're not going to agree. You know? Like, that's normal. It's all right. Yeah, well, buy and hold is good if you're talking about blue chip, healthy companies. And again, it's not just blue chips. What I've always told people is that it's legacy companies, right? Like, you want companies that have been around for a long time, that have proven their business model. And really, you just want to keep it at index funds, really. Like, index funds are the way if you're going to buy and sit over time. I like to buy individual companies. That's something that I do. But I understand the risk of it. And again, usually I'm only buying legacy companies. Like, my portfolio consisted of, like, Target, Honeywell, Apple, you know, like stuff like that, because those companies have been around, they're time tested, you know. When you got new immersions in tech, like Supermicro semiconductors and AI, they're risky, it's up too much. And again, maybe it continues. It's big risk, big reward is what I always said. And so maybe it continues back up. It's possible it does, right? Like, it doesn't mean Supermicro semiconductors is over with. Maybe it comes back. Again, it's pulled back, 60-70% right now. So I mean, it's more than that. It's pulled back like 75% right now from highs. So people say Nvidia is a bubble, but it was really Supermicro that was the bubble. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's a different thing. Supermicro up from $10 up to $1,200 plus. Nvidia was up from, like $100 to whatever it was. And now it's been split a couple times, but yeah. Since 2020, Nvidia was at Nvidia was at a pre-split price of $70 a share, and it went from $70 to really over $1,000. Supermicro in 2020 was at $20 a share, and it went from $20 to $1,200 plus. So this is way more than Nvidia was up. And I think you gotta, again, the risky part of Supermicro was the float, right? The float, if it had a larger float size, right? Which means that, traders can look at it in good or bad ways. The float is how many shares are out in the ether for traders and investors, right? How many shares are buyable out there is the float. Outstanding shares is all the shares, including executive-owned shares. The float is how many shares are out there. I always think about it as how many shares are floating around in the ether, out there. But whenever a stock has a very small amount of shares that are out there, it's called a low float stock. And a small amount is like 1 million, 50 million, 100 million. Really is relatively small float, especially for a blue chip healthy company. If you want to look at like how many shares like Apple has, it's billions. So like, yeah, it's almost 16 billion outstanding shares. The float, it's around 15.63 billion outstanding shares, right? So 15.5 billion shares in the float. Supermicro Semiconductor had what? $52 million. That's a tiny float. And again, it's big percentages, right? What this means is that it can move up and down in big percentages. So essentially, catalysts like news releases, like the Hindenburg report, are gonna be much more impactful over this thing's movement versus, a more stable company in terms of float like Apple with billions of shares, right? So you can kind of see it as like protection almost from bad news and less reactions to good news. Is it time to buy? It might be. And it might be. It really might be. I don't mind the value down here for Supermicro, but I also recognize the risks. It depends on whether it death spirals as a company, which I don't think it will, but it could. Death spirals for companies like this happen. And now again, I don't think it necessarily will, and I think there probably is some good value down here, but I have no freaking idea. Don't copy me. I'm not an investment professional. It ultimately depends on how deep the DOJ investigation goes, right? If they go in there and they find big mishaps, that's a problem for them. Then they're going to probably drop even more when that stuff comes out, and then it's going to be a problem. But as long as they can clean that up, I think they're going to be okay. We'll see, though. Yeah, listen, if you made money on Radical, it doesn't matter, bro. Good job. I'm happy for you. I really am. It's not like I'm shorting this thing, So congrats if you made money. Again, we're not going to agree on everything. It's all good. It's all love, man. Tesla at 256. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, I don't like any of those fashion brands. Solo, Estee Lauder, Burberry. Energy stocks by the dip. All right, guys. Yeah, man. I'm reading this story about the girl. Her name was Allie Rice from Baton Rouge, man. Really sad story, dude. I'm telling you, man, like, I don't want my kids to grow up in Baton Rouge, man. You know. I just don't. Anybody from Baton Rouge should understand that, to be honest. I love Louisiana. Love my home state. But, you know. Hey, what's up, Mitch? PC very important for Bitcoin to rally through 66K and beyond. When Nike go back up, I don't know, man. We'll see. You know, look, you kind of see Nvidia pumping up to 123s. The SPY at 572s. Supermicro at just under 400. The question is, and again, I don't think I've done a poll yet today. Does PCE come in hot or cold? Does today's core PCE price index data come in high or low? Higher or lower than the 0.2% expectation? Higher, lower, as expected. John's cool / see results. JP is set to speak Monday afternoon. Is he really? Again? Let me look this up. I haven't really looked this up. All right. So how you doing, Mitch? How you doing this week, bro? 26. Oh, he is speaking. He's speaking at the National Association for Business Economics annual meeting in Nashville, Tennessee at 1:55 p.m. Hey, we're going to cover it. That means no jiu-jitsu on Monday. Got some sleep. It's generally as expected. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, last time we showed up at 0.2%, we were expecting 0.2%. So last time we showed up as expected. We'll see if it influences the market, though. It's not on the economy, though. What do you mean? New prime minister. I want inline inflation. 5 minutes for buying energy. Yeah, you hope you're safe from the hurricane, Beach Bum. Luckily, I don't have too much. Oh, how you doing, Midge? Yeah, the game is cold, but it's gravy, guys. Pimp C. You know. No, I'm red this week, but I can't let it affect the vibes. Yeah, for sure, man. Will this impact gold? It might. It depends on how much. If it comes in line, probably not. Right? In line is neutral. It's as expected. It's what's expected, which is a 0.2% rise month to month. If it comes in super outside of those expected numbers, that's when it's going to have more brash effects on markets. You know. Nike is done. Nike up to almost 90. Looks good. Could dump lower. Yeah, for sure. Next week could be dangerous for stocks. Yeah, honestly, next week we got a whole gang of data. We really do next week, man. Next week we have Chicago PMI, the JOLTS report, Tuesday. So Monday we got Chicago PMI and Big Papa Jerome Powell. Tuesday, we got the JOLTS job opening report and ISM manufacturing PMI data at 10. JOLTS report's the biggest one for sure, but ISM data's not irrelevant. Wednesday, we got the prelim payroll numbers. So we got the ADP non-farm employment change, basically the prelim payroll numbers that always drop the Wednesday preceding the non-farm payroll numbers, the big boy payroll numbers. Thursday, we got ISM services, factory orders, services PMI data at 9:45 and jobless claims unemployment. And then Friday, we got the big boy report with non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Very big. Every day next week, we got something going on, which is kind of how I like it. Coco. Sounds like a lovely place. Yeah. I got to check it out now. Ooh, Mitch. Hey, Mitch, I'm gonna message you on Twitter, bro. I'm gonna message you on Twitter, dude. We're gonna have to meet up soon. I'm not gonna tell people anything but about when or where, but here, I'm gonna message you on Twitter, bro. Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah. I didn't know you moved there. So yeah, man, we should. Yeah, I'll update you. I'll text you. It comes in a lot higher today. Would it go down sharply? In theory, yes, but it's not always easy to predict the reactions. You know, I always tell people the same thing. Economic data comes out, and it's not always easy to gauge the reaction. You know, so like. Sometimes they can, like, I've gotten the last 4 CPI reports exactly right, you know. But predicting the report and actually predicting the reaction that finance gets from it, like the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, is a different thing. It's much harder to predict. Now, yeah, it's much harder to predict. What I like to do is if we come in neutral, as an example, right, and say here's the SPY prior to the report, say we come in neutrally, and then the SPY drops like a really big percentage as soon as the data comes out. I actually like to buy up the dip down there and like ride it back because usually it'll retrace at least a little bit. Like usually the first move, if it's big, is an overreaction, especially if it's neutral. Now, if the data comes in high and we make this type of drop, you know, that's a different thing because it's a little bit more justified if we have higher inflation problems. So it's nuanced, but that's kind of what I look for when I take these type of trades. Yeah. Yeah, we could, man. We could. Yeah, let's talk about it, dude. I'm down. What is Tesla delivery numbers? Tesla delivery numbers. Let me, AI is usually pretty good for this. Yeah, so I think ChatGPT is down. No, I'm not showing anything. I don't know if it's just me. Yeah, so ChatGPT is down today some. See if I can get it open again. Okay, I think it's back. Let me see. And we're back in. Okay. This is where AI really shines at querying things. It's within the first few days after the quarter ends, since the third quarter of 24 ends on September 30th. Tesla's quarter 3 24 delivery numbers are expected to release in early October, likely between the 1st and 3rd of next month. Shout out to AI. You hate GPT, bro? I like try GPT 4.0. GPT 4.0 is really, really nice. It really is. Jerome told us the economy is fine, and so far the numbers say it's fine. I mean, you got to take what he says with a grain of salt. Of course, he doesn't want. I'll have to try Claude out. He doesn't want panic. Again, everybody gives Powell a lot of heat, but that's a tough job. He only makes $200K to do that job. That's a tough job for $200K. Now, he's got a $50 million net worth, so he's making money, but that's a tough job. Everybody blames him specifically. There's what, like 11 or 12 Fed members, but nobody looks at anybody else. They look at Powell, and they blame Powell. You can tell he's aged a lot since he took office, too. It's a tough job, man. Yeah. So we also have, I guess, Tesla delivery numbers Wednesday, October 2nd. I'm not 100% sure, though. Yeah. Well, I mean, he has that big of a net worth. He used to be an investment. He used to be the head of an investment bank, Powell. And so, he's made his money. He's living life, John, GPT 4.0's cost seems difficult to estimate based on their token structure. How much does it cost you monthly in order to use daily? It's $20 a month. Right? I'm pretty sure it's $20 a month. I'll have to look. I don't remember exactly how much I pay, but I think it's like $20 a month. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it's $20. I'm not 100% sure. I have to look at what I pay. I don't know. I think it's $20. Let me try. OpenAI.com. Products, pricing, GPT 4.0. Yeah, I mean, I think the pricing you might be looking at is if you're looking at the API pricing. I'm pretty sure, but I might be wrong. Like I have to look at exactly. So I guess the point is you're looking at API pricing, Sam. So like if you wanted to create a smartphone application using OpenAI as his backend AI system, that's where you're gonna have to pay $5 per 1 million input tokens. So like that's when you're gonna have to pay for stuff like that, right? So it's on a use case model regarding its API system, which is nice because what it means is like as a developer, right? Like I've developed AI systems before. I never even abused them. I developed them and then kind of trashed them. I just didn't end up using it. I developed a pretty cool one that wasn't cheap. I spent over 10 grand on it, but ultimately by the time it was ready to debut, AI had evolved so much, it kind of rendered a lot of what I was doing obsolete. And I saw that as a common trend. And so I didn't want to put any more money into it. But the point is, the reason this is beneficial is because you can create an application. And if nobody's using it, right, you're not going to have to pay. Like other APIs cost, $300-400 a month just in API usage, right? For if you build an application for it. And so this is good in that while you're building the API system and the software, you don't have to pay a bunch because it's not being used yet. So yeah, it's 8:30 Eastern. Did I miss disconnection on Costco earnings? I didn't really cover Costco earnings, although I do like Costco as a company. It's just up a lot the last few years, so it's one of those stocks that are just up big. Yeah, I'm not using the API. All right, so I'm seeing some stuff about Pawn sent me. Costco shares are down after quarter 4 results. They fell 1.5% to 888 in pre-market at its lows. The company missed market expectations for quarter 4 revenue on Thursday. If we put up Costco here in the middle, it missed market expectations for quarter 4 rev. Thursday, cautious consumer spending on pricier items at membership-only stores. Quarter 4 revenue came in at $79.7 billion versus $79.97, so a little bit lower than expected. Still, we had 3 brokerages raise price targets. Roth MKM raised PT on Costco to $755 from $676, citing higher numbers as the justification. It says while Costco is behind peers in building its digital ecosystem, it's adding third-party vendors and working on personalization. So basically, it's a little bit behind in terms of tech and online shopping, but honestly, have y'all ever been to a Costco on a Sunday? It's a problem going there. Honestly, Carol talked me into going one day on a Sunday. Worst mistake I ever made. I literally went there, and it's like driving in traffic, but you got to look the people in the eye first. Like, I hate it. I hate the grocery store with a passion. I genuinely hate the grocery store. Carol freaking loves it. It's like Carol's Eden is the grocery store. I freaking hate it. I don't want to go. I don't like going. I don't like shopping. I don't like buying stuff. My dad was a little bit more frugal growing up. And so I think me going to the grocery store stresses me out. Like buying like that many things stresses me out. I'd rather Carol just go do it behind my back. Alright, hey, what's up, Beach Bum? Yeah, y'all check out Beach Bum stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Check him out. Really good swing trading content for sure. Check him out. Go give that man a subscribe. Here's Beach Bum right here. Again, go give that man a subscribe. If you haven't yet, you're missing out. Sub to Beach Bum Trading. Yeah, my dad was very frugal growing up. Again, in hindsight, I can appreciate it, But like I wore Walmart shoes sometimes. Like we bought off-brand cereal, which is fine. Like I'm not complaining about it, But he was very frugal. Like he was vastly different from my mom. My mom was not frugal, My dad was very frugal. And so it's just different. And so I think going to the grocery store kind of stresses me out. Come on now. Yeah, all good, Beach Bomb. I mean, just say you're hurt. I mean, listen, I guess you did. But listen, let it out, man. It's okay. I'll be your Huckleberry, bro. Let it out. Groceries is not that serious. Bro, honestly, the way my wife grew up, right? My wife grew up in this way in which she could buy whatever she wanted at the grocery store. So, like, we go to the grocery store, bro. People are literally judging us because of how full our cart is. Especially right now in modern the economy. People are judging us. They're looking at our cart as super full. and they're giving us mean eyes. They're like, man, how dare you? You know, I feel judged. Maybe I just get stressed spending stuff. That's possible too. But yeah, it's all good. You know, I've tried to talk my wife into that, JG, because like in modern times, you can basically buy everything online from your phone and then just kind of swing through, pick it up. They'll load it in the truck. It'll take the whole shopping experience out of it, which is I freaking love. I'm a big, you know, proponent of that. I would love to make it happen like that. And again, my wife's argument, I can't even knock it because it's a pretty good argument. My wife's argument is like when she buys fruit, she wants the freshest fruit. And if she buys it like that, what they genuinely do is they give you the old fruit that's about to go bad, right? Like if you buy a bunch of grapes, they're giving you some old grapes that they know are going to go bad because those are the ones they need to get out first. And so instead of being able to pick and choose the best fruit, they give you the old fruit if you do that. And I guess I understand the argument. Yeah. Well, it depends on where you go, right? Target, I'm buying 4 things. It's like $600. Costco, you know, everybody's buying wholesale in Costco anyway, so they don't really judge as much. But if I go to a place like Kroger and my cart's full, people are kind of judgy. All right, guys. Share. Nobody shares. We share. Like we try to do right. You know, like we really do. Like we try to do good. Costco is down at 887s. Like I said, like we try to do right. Like we and again, I'm not bragging. I've said this before. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do it. Probably, right? So I'm not trying to be self-righteous in what I'm about to say. But my wife saw this girl that she knows, and she works as a cashier at a place we go to regularly, and so we kind of chat with her. We both do. We kind of chat with her every time we see her because like we're there regularly, so we see her. And so anyways, her last time we saw her, and she just had a baby, right? Just had a baby. And she's like a cashier, right? So the last time we saw her, her whole jaw was swollen. Like her jaw was swollen. It was really big. And so naturally my wife asks her what's wrong. And she's like, hey, you know, one of my teeth are infected. I don't have insurance. And I don't know what I can, you know, like basically I got to just leave it alone. I can't do anything. And so eventually we talked to her and we're like, hey, you know, my wife talks to her really because again, if it was up to me, I don't know if I would do it. I don't trust people really. Character flaw on my end for sure. But anyways, Carol talks to her and tells her, look, and again, I'm telling this story not to brag because if it was me, I wouldn't do it probably. But anyway, Carol talks to her and says, hey, look, if you want to get those those 2 teeth pulled, we'll pay for it. Just go to the dentist, send us the bill, we'll pay for it. You know, and again, we told her specifically just getting the teeth pulled. Bro, she goes to the dentist, and the dentist is all super nice. They're like, oh, it's great what you're doing. And they say, hey, if you want to really get it worked on, you can get all this stuff done. And the dentist literally has the audacity to send us a $7,000 bill and says, hey, if you want to get this stuff taken care of. It's like, I don't know if they thought we were just billionaires and that we were about to just, you know, oh, 10K, flush it down the toilet, bro. Who cares? But we basically had to tell the dentist, stay out of this, okay? Like pull the teeth. It'll be what, like $300 a tooth? We'll pay for that. We're not getting her teeth fixed. We're not doing cosmetic stuff. We're not rebuilding her mouth. Like, this is just not what we're doing. Like, we'll get the teeth pulled. I got a tooth pulled recently. It was like $400. You know, I didn't even get the cosmetic denture addition to it. So if I'm not getting it, we definitely are not about to buy it for her. You know. Yeah, dude, they hit us with a $7,000 bill. My wife and I looked at each other like the freaking audacity of this dentist. Like you give them an inch, they take a mile here. You know. But yeah, this lady's gonna come out looking like freaking, you know. Ugh. SPY up to 573. SPY about to go green on the day. Nvidia rising back. One of the reasons the SPY's coming back like this. Okay, so this is, I don't know if this is the previous lifetime high or what, but it's getting close. SPY at the 574.70s is the previous lifetime high. Ankle lock that dentist, heel hook, personally. You know, that's a better one. Right, like, well, like, if you're in, the whole thing is like, look, if you're struggling, we'll help you, you know? Like, if it's a medical problem, like, we'll fix it. You know, but again, I told my wife, look, there's always like a consideration here. I said, look, if you do this, you can never be this person's friend, right? Because then what's gonna happen? She's gonna start coming at you for more, and you can never tell her where we live, because if you do, the first time something bad happens and she gets evicted or something, she's gonna show up at our house. And marriage is hard. Marriage is tough. You got to protect your marriage. Like, you have to protect your environment. And you have to be defensive about it in that way, you know? And so something that weighs on marriages is like random people moving in and stuff. I'm not trying to be mean, but those are the two understandings that we both had. We were like, look, can't tell her where we live. You know, can't really be friends with her now either. You know, I don't know if we were going to be friends with her anyway, but yeah. PCE comes out at 23 in 23 minutes. SPY just went over a previous lifetime high. The new lifetime high is right here at 575. Do you really care what people think? Everybody cares what people think to a certain extent. You know, the whole cliched saying is, I don't care what people think, is total BS nonsense. Everybody cares. People can pretend not to care because it makes them look, I don't know. But everybody cares a little bit, no matter what they say, who they are. You know, everybody cares. Yeah, I don't know about any of that stuff, JG. If your name's JG, I always think of Wentworth afterwards. That dentist knows a keto? Listen, yeah. He's going to dance around for me. Super Micro at $400. Can you please share the PCE report with us? It's not out yet. It comes out at 8:30. There might be a big old timer, you know, up here. Yeah, there might be a big old timer right here. Hold on. Hold on, wait. Did I get it? There might be a big old timer right here that says how long we got until the report comes out. Just tuned in? What did I miss? Heard something about somebody moving in? No. So my wife's a good person, man. She tries, you know. I don't trust nearly as much, and I'm not nearly as generous, I think. But she's a good person. Yeah, so the PC report drops in 20 minutes. Yeah, Costco's still at 890s here. It's still trying to hold. We'll see if it does. Yeah, MU going up big on earnings. Still holding pretty well. Like, it's up to 110s. It's nowhere near lifetime highs, but it's back up from the downfall it's seen over the last couple months. So MU's doing okay, benefiting the whole microchip sector, except for Supermicro, which is a struggle today. Palantir didn't quite hit 40s, did it? No, Palantir's highs are 38.20s. Oh, do you mean, does anybody see it hitting 40 into the future? Yeah, I mean, I certainly think it will eventually. I'm not sure when, where, how long it'll be, though. But I certainly think it will eventually. Yeah, Supermicro under investigation from the Department of Justice. All right, we got about 700 people here live. We still got, 20 minutes left until this report drops. 20 minutes. I'm going to throw it in sub-only mode. If you haven't yet, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. All right, guys, 18 minutes left. NVIDIA did rebound a lot. It's almost back up to 124s. What's up, Lolo? What's up, Joe? What's up, Chris? 877 cash now. JG Wentworth, the GOAT. There will be money after 20 minutes. Yep, I think so. There could be money in the world in 20 minutes. How come stocks are doing highs in 21 and 20 and 21 all due to money printing? No, okay. So in 2020 and 2021, the economy was facing a lot of difficult things. Obviously, like lockdowns, pandemic, people being out of work, people struggling. But the stock market was running for a different reason, right? Outside of like QE and money printing or anything like that. Like, the stock market was running in 2020 from the AI boom. Like, the AI started to spike in 2020. And so that's why you see back here in 2020, when did AI really start to take off? It started taking off around 2020, now it made its big gains in 2023, but it did start to wake up in 2020. You can kind of see the volume of NVIDIA, like volume wise. If you see when volume really started to take off, it was in 2020 in terms of price and buys. So again, 2020 is right here. And so you can kind of see, and this is a monthly chart, you can kind of see that was the start of this big crazy boom. And so 2020, 2021, market was running because AI started to wake up. Maybe the QE could have had something to do with it. The stimulus checks maybe did too. Like, one thing that happened in 2021, and it's really something that helped grow my channel. My channel grew a lot from this. But one of the things that happened is everybody had to stay home. Nobody was working. Everybody was stuck at home with nothing to do. And so what they ended up doing was trading stocks. They traded stocks because they were stuck at home. Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports guy, started day trading live. A lot of people started day trading. AMC GameStop happened, and that movement brought a lot of people to stocks, even if they were too late to profit or benefit from it. The AMC GameStop movement brought a lot of people over. Again, in 2020, like prior to 2020, my stream was getting like 400, 300, 200 people live. After 2020, the big streams, we got thousands, and again, we haven't really turned back since. Like, today we'll have over 1,000 at 8:30 when PCE drops. Yesterday for Jerome Powell, we had 4,000 plus people here watching. And so my channel hasn't really turned back since, and it was ultimately a good movement for the channel and stocks. But again, that's why everybody was stuck at home with nothing to do when they got stimulus checks. So what did they do with it? They put the money in stocks in some ways. They bought up some stocks, tried to double it or triple it or whatever they wanted to do. Kind of a gambling mentality, but hey, it's human nature. I'm kind of a homebody anyway, and I was already married. So like my wife and I know some relationships didn't work from the 2020 stuff. But my wife and I grew stronger. Like, we were okay. Yeah, Dave Portnoy, not a good day trader. Shout out to him. I'm sure Chess did well too. What did Powell say? I missed it. Nothing big. He didn't really influence the market. So his Monday speech will be bigger than yesterday's for sure. All right, we got about 800 people, live viewers here. Again, hit that sub button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Yeah, so Powell's speaking. Powell's going to be speaking Monday. We did we looked it up. Yeah, he's going to be speaking at some type of economic conference, speaking on the economy. Yeah, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. Yeah, supply chain was a problem. Well, I think what happened, Straight Jacket, is this. Okay, generally speaking, people working can help distract consumers from spending, right? So like working every day causes you to have these only small windows to spend, right? But the problem is after the pandemic, everybody was stuck at home with nothing to do, right? They were stuck on the internet with nothing to do basically. And so what did they do? They started watching stocks. They started, trying to invest. They started trying to buy up stuff. They started, doing stuff like that. And that's what kind of caused the surge of interest in AMC and GameStop and everything, is because people were stuck at home with nothing to do. A lot of them got stimulus checks. And so it kind of created this market where everybody had money with nothing to do, right? And when you have money with nothing to do, what are you going to do with your money? You're going to spend it on stocks or whatever you can think of. Everybody wanted to learn trading in that period of time. Ultimately, it was great for my channel. Bitcoin. Wait a bit. Did Bitcoin go up? Bitcoin almost up to 66,000. Yeah, in 2020, Bitcoin had this big rise. It's kind of when it woke up. Bitcoin was at under 10K for a long time in 2020. Bitcoin, in 2020 and 2021, Bitcoin went from 10K basically to 70,000, 66K at the peak of 21. So Bitcoin had a surge. Why? Because everybody was buying it. People were stuck at home with nothing to do. Yeah, Shiba Inu was moving. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we got 12 minutes. We got about 900 people here live. Again, y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. But yeah, so Powell is going to be speaking at the 66th NABE annual meeting. Yeah, so Powell's going to be speaking about the economy, which is good. Again, we're going to stream it live. It's going to be in the middle of the day Monday, though. Yeah, I didn't make that much money then. I remember I got checks. I remember I was dealing with, what I was dealing with in 2020 and 2021 was freaking Comcast, dude. I freaking hate Comcast. Worst company ever. The problem is that they have salesmen and they lie and they'll say whatever they got to say to lock in the sale. So they'll be like, yeah, it'll be $20 a month, John. Or they'll, more realistic. They'll be like, yeah, it's $70 a month net. It's going to be $70 a month net. Sign this contract. Or no, it'll be like, hey, it's $70 a month. We're going to finalize that right now. And so you're like, okay, great, $70 a month, cool. Then you get your bill and it's like 170, 160, 150. It's like 100% more than they advertised it as. So then you call them and you're like, yo, Comcast, what happened? You told me $70 a month net. And I used to be a customer service rep a long time ago. And so I know they record every call. So they could easily go back and listen to them lying to me. But then they pretend like again, it's like, hey, what happened? You told me $70 a month. Now it shows up at 140. What happened? And they'll basically be like, no, we never told you that. And it's just kind of like, what? Like, you did tell me that. And they just lie to you about it. They'll lie. Again, the problem is it's a conflict of interest. The customer service reps that are supposed to help you get commission from you, right? And so they don't want you to cancel. They want higher sales. And so they're going to tell you whatever they got to tell you, even if it's not true, to get you to lock in. Super unorganized as well. Commission structure just makes a conflict of interest, unfortunately. Anyways, PCE data drops today. Now, the Fed loves to look at PCE. So PCE stands for the personal consumption expenditure. If you want to know, like, CPI is the most watched retail inflation gauge. When I say retail inflation gauge, I mean it's the most watched regarding retail. Like, retail traders watch CPI much more than they watch anything else, including PCE, core PCE. But there's some distinct differences between CPI inflation data and PCE data. Now, they both are key measures of inflation. They differ in a lot of different ways, specifically scope, weight, and use. So CPI is probably, again, well, we generally have thousands and thousands of people here for CPI. It measures the average change in the prices paid by urban consumers for a fixed basket of goods over time. It includes out-of-pocket expenses by households like rent, groceries, gas, healthcare. It's often seen as a more direct reflect of the cost of living because it focuses on consumer purchases. Now, today we have, again, core PCE data. We have regular PCE, but core PCE is what the Fed likes to look at. It measures the prices of goods and services consumed by households, not just what they buy directly. So it includes expenditures made on their behalf, such as healthcare, and by employers, government programs, Medicare and Medicaid. It excludes food and energy prices, which tend to be more volatile, and it focuses on a broad and smoother look at inflation by including items that aren't directly purchased by households. In terms of weight, CPI is based on a fixed basket of goods. For an example is if consumers shift from buying steak to chicken, the CPI won't immediately adjust to it. Core PCE, on the other hand, uses a dynamic basket that reflects changing consumer behaviors and business practices. It means that it can better capture shifts in spending patterns, such as increased spending on tech or health services, and it weights in PCE are updated. The weights in PCE are regularly updated, making it more reflective of actual consumer habits. And again, this is all one of the reasons the Fed likes to look at it. So when you hear the Fed reference an inflation metric, they're usually referencing PCE, core PCE specifically. So in terms of volatility, CPI is definitely more volatile. Again, we got more people watching it. It includes food and energy. It can fluctuate due to external factors like weather, oil prices, and it focuses on headline inflation, which includes all items, although core CPI is also tracked. Core PCE, again, a little bit smoother of an inflation metric because it excludes food and energy. It's often used by economists and policymakers as a preferred gauge of underlying inflation. And the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation measure is core PCE. CPI tends to report higher. So like in the years following 21, after the pandemic and all that stuff, inflation spiked because the Fed did QE. They printed money, they brought interest rates down, and inflation spiked. Got up to almost 10% regarding CPI. PCE got up to I think it was 6%. So core PCE is a little bit lower in terms of year-over-year reports. But yeah, that's basically the big differences. And again, today in 7 minutes, core PCE drops. So today in 7 minutes, we got the big report, PCE data. We'll see what we get. Yeah, freaking Comcast. The worst ever. And somehow they talked me into buying business Comcast, which was worse than residential. Like, you literally got nothing. Like, you spent 4 times, or at least 2x, the amount of residential internet, and it was worse internet. And so there's no value in business Comcast. They're just scamming people. It's a sales tactic of doubling your price, locking you into it. Thank you, John. That quote from Steve Jobs was deep. I shared it. Thank you. Hey, nice. That's a good quote. It really is. Used bikes. Everyone was looking for bikes. We used to not be able to give them away. Then they went to where we couldn't keep them in stock. Yeah, for sure. Everybody was home. Nothing to do. My family affectionately refers to, middle-aged men who put on spandex, put a futuristic helmet on, and then block cars on the street on their bicycles. I see them everywhere. I hate them. Okay? It's like the guys in This Is 40. My wife and I affectionately refer to them as bikelers, I think is what we call them. My daughter and I make fun of them too. Never will I ever be that. I'm sorry. If you're that, I'm not really judging you. I just kind of have a nickname for you guys. All right, guys. We got 5 minutes. We got 1,200 people here live. Let's break 2,000 today, can we? Let's do it. Hit the like button next to the subscribe button. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Biklers. All right, guys, we got 4 minutes. You know, but not everybody that rides a bike is a bikeler, you know. Biklers specifically, the key is spandex and futuristic helmets. If you got spandex on, futuristic helmets, you're one of them, you know. I do it to make drivers mad. My only goal. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. It's a bikeler. Rivian today, I don't know. All right, guys, Tesla pulling back. Here we go. We got 3 minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. This is a little bit early. I'm gonna fix this. Yeah. I'll try to make this as accurate as I can, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, again, like, they know what they're doing, you know what I mean? I'm not mad at you if you want to ride a bike, but, like, don't clog traffic just because you want to ride a bike. Like, there's places you should ride a bike and there's places you shouldn't. You know, even if they're allowed, it's just dumb. Like, you're causing problems, you know? All right, Chad, here we go. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. I appreciate it. Again, PCE is a big report, a big data release today. We got about 1,500 live viewers right now. Thanks so much. We're looking at our poll numbers. 37% think it comes in high. 24% think it comes in low. 33% think it comes in as expected. 7% say John's cool. All right, 1.5 minutes, chat. Again, SPY actually over 573s. Here we go. We got 1.5 minutes left, chat. All right, guys, 1 minute. We got 1,600 people. Can we break 2,000 here today? All right, 1 minute, chat. Will Super Micro go down more? Again, there's Super Micro on the right, and I'm going to put gold up on the right side. I want to see what gold does to this report. There's gold. It's at 2687s. So there's gold. It's expected to come in as expected. It's a contradiction. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds. We got 1,700 people here. My blood pressure is volatile. All right, guys, here we go. Here is the big report today. PCE data. Massive report today, guys. Massive report. Hit the live button. We got 10 minutes or 10 seconds. All right, this is a little bit early. And here's the report right here. Core PCE expected at 0.2%. And waiting for core PCE to reflect. Good trades balance should have been minus 94.26 billion. Core PCE should have been 0.1% lower than expected. 2.7% on the year. 0.1% lower than expected. Better inflation data than expected. 0.1% versus 0.2% expected. So a little bit better inflationary data by 0.1%. So 0.1% better than expected. So again, 0.1% better than expected. Again, we also had core PCE year over year coming at 2.7%. The good trades balance showed up a little bit better than expected as well. Regular PCE showed up at 2.2% on the year, 0.1% on the month. Core PCE showed up at 0.1% on the month versus 0.2% expected, and 2.7% year over year report here, guys. So again, PCE data. Again, I'm going to go over it one more time. 0.1%. Let's see if the market reacts favorably. It's kind of starting to react favorably. It's going up a little bit. It doesn't mean it's going to go up a lot. 0.1% versus 0.2% expected. We'll put this up on screen. That's basically the biggest report. 0.1% versus 0.2% expected here. Look, there's the report right here. Again, stick around. We're watching this live. Look at NVIDIA about to go over 124s. NVIDIA trying to break 124s right now. Gold pumping up a little bit as well. SPY up to 573.30s here, chat. 573.30s. Let's see if it holds. Again, SPY at 573.30s. NVIDIA just went technically green on the day. It's over 124s. Chat, over 124s. NVIDIA just went technically green on the day. We got up to 2,000 viewers, so thanks so much. I appreciate it. Again, 0.1% versus 0.2% expected. I'm going to put the full report here so you guys can see it. There's the full report, 0.1% versus 0.2% expected. Last time it showed up at 0.2%. It was unrounded at 0.1304%. So, yeah, NVIDIA green. We had slightly better. It was only slightly better than expected. Only slightly better. Again, Tesla at 257s. So we're still moving up a little bit here, chat. We'll see if it holds. Best YouTube channel. Hey, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. We try over here. Are you live for U.S. Consumer Sentiment Michigan? Yeah. Today at 10 a.m. we're going to cover it. For sure. We'll definitely cover it. And again, guys, if you haven't already, again, we're going to day trade live at the opening bell like we always do today. Top Step X really is a great way to learn how to day trade. Right, Top Step X is a funded program. If you want to day trade, do not put up your own money. You're almost certainly going to lose if you fund your own account. In the futures market, there's no PDT rule. You could day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. So even if you trade Forex, the futures market might be good for you. No PDT rule. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks, but Top Step limits your risk. They give you a demo, and they test your skill with the demo first. If you pass the test with the demo, then they fund you with a regular account, and once you're funded, you get a 90% split. Top Step X is one of the best edges in the game. They paid out over $40 million. And when you trade micro contracts, there's no commissions, only 74 cents in fees per trade. I think it's 74 cents. When you trade regular E-mini contracts, it's less than $3 in fees per trade. And so there's no commissions. The biggest edge in funding. So you can take small, steady trades. Again, some of the best rules in the game. They paid out over $40 million to their traders, and it's a great way to learn how to actually day trade. Almost all day traders lose money. And so if you put up $5,000 yourself, you know, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably going to lose that $5,000. Almost all new traders lose. So limit your risk. Try this out. It's a perfect middle ground of pressure. You're still risking something, and most day traders are going to lose, but it's not the full extent of risking thousands yourself. And if you lose, it's not the end of the world. It's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step. And so again, check them out. Great way to learn how to trade. Yeah, bro, the only channel I tune in for the news. Hey, thanks so much, man. Yeah, we get a big spike during economic reports. And again, like I said, somebody yesterday tried to critique my day trading. It's like, look, dude, I don't even claim to be a good day trader. Like, I don't even, like, you know. Yeah. I don't even claim to be a good day trader. I try. I think I'm okay. I'm really, if you look at what I'm actually good at, and if anybody watches the stream regularly, you know, I'm pretty decent at swing trading and investing, you know. Like I can find value, I think, is what I'm good at. Now, day trading I can be good as well. It just depends, you know. But even in these funded account programs, like I don't even necessarily need to get funded, right? I'm biased in their favor because I get paid for it, of course. So I'm definitely biased. They're sponsors of mine. They pay me money. But I think like I'm providing a service, even with my sponsored plugs. Like you guys might get annoyed by my sponsored plugs, but there's value in it. Why is there value? Because I'm telling people the truth. Most day traders lose money. Now, I could lie to you and act like I was some guru, savant, prodigy day trader making millions of dollars like all the other day trading gurus do. I would rather just be real and tell you most day traders are going to lose money, and it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step than it is to put the money up yourself, right? Like, that's objectively true in my opinion. But you want to confirm it all with them. Again, I'm definitely biased. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, you know. But yeah, 0.1% PCE data, 0.1%. I'm starting my day here every morning. Best place to get the daily. Hey, thanks so much. Why tune in to talk crap? You know how it goes. Anytime you do something cool, people who haven't done anything cool hate on you for it. That's normal. That means you're doing something right, really. Anyway, SPY at 573 is over that big previous high here. Now, the new lifetime high, I got to see exactly where it is on the SPY. It's at 574.71. So the new lifetime high is right here. That's the new lifetime high. I'm going to edit it and make it a big window on my chart so I can watch it. So this is the new lifetime high. Right here. So again, we got some air, we got some room. We'll see if we can hit it or not. Market has appropriately reacted, I think, to economic reports, right? So we came in at 0.1% versus 0.2%, slightly better, and the market is slightly up on this report. It doesn't mean it's going to hold, but it's slightly up. Okay, GameStop partners with Cost headphones. Does it really? Cost headphones is like during the 2021 GameStop squeeze. Cost, there's a couple sympathy moves. You had BB moving, you had KOSS moving, you had like Nokia moving up a little bit. So basically, like one of the weird nuances of the 2021 squeeze was that all these weird like 90s, like for lack of a better word, obsolete companies were running. KOSS, Nokia, GameStop, you know, these weird companies that are mostly obsolete from the 90s were running big. Macy's. It was strange. It was a strange market. BlackBerry, you know, from the early 2000s. Thanks for what you do working from home with the kiddos listening. Christian and G. Hey, nice, man. Hey, welcome, brother. Appreciate the love. We try over here. We try. Yeah, people get weird. Again, we just give people free reports. Like, I don't even claim to be good. And so people will still try to find a reason to hate. Usually it's the same. Like, you got probably a couple bad eggs that, for whatever reason, get obsessed and create fake accounts and just, you know. And again, usually it just comes from their, like, struggling in their own lives. Like, they don't have much else going on. And, you know, for whatever reason, they kind of latch on to you. And it just gets weird. People are weird. And some people that, you know, people who are falling will usually try to grab somebody on the way down. You know what I mean? Tesla at 570, 257.50s. It's moving. Definitely top 3-ish in the world right now. BBIG, Vinco Ventures. I remember BBIG. You know, again, every time, look at the SPY break highs again, NVIDIA pumping up. Gold testing the previous closing price, so it's trying to move up as well. Every time I talk about BBIG, right? Every single time I talk about it, I see like I try to go over the truth, right? And the truth for BBIG is very simple. The truth is that people get so enamored by penny stocks. They really do. They get so enamored by penny stocks. They trade them ridiculous. They end up like, they just end up wasting money on penny stocks. And again, people involved with some of these penny stocks like BBIG, they get sold on it. They get sold on investing in crap, right? And again, I go over this rant once, usually a week at least, but most healthy blue chip companies were never penny stocks. You know, if you think about the process of most healthy blue chip companies, you can look at like Facebook as an example, right? When Facebook IPO'd, it was immediately what? Like $20, $30 a share. It was never, you know, it was never for lack of a better word, a penny stock. You know, Facebook IPO'd, its lows were 1750s. Right? And so it was never a penny stock. Even like if you look at, a lot of these are post-split. So because they've had splits, if you look at their history, it'll look like they were a penny stock at one point in time. But usually healthy blue chip companies IPO and they're never penny stocks. And so people have this misconception that all healthy companies start off as a penny stock like a puppy and then grow to be like some healthy company, and that's just not true at all. If a stock finds itself under $5 a share, under $10 a share with a low float, it is in a very, very bad spot. A very, very bad spot. And so trying to find value, there's also a lot of propaganda that goes on for those companies, for lack of a better word. Maybe propaganda is not the best word, but there's a lot of misleading marketing. And it's just like the Wolf of Wall Street, right? The Wolf of Wall Street, Aerotine International, cutting-edge firm out the Midwest, awaiting imminent patent approval, right? Like same nonsense that you get in penny stocks nowadays. But even Jordan Belfort described it as selling garbage to garbage men. Basically, you're taking advantage of people trying to get rich. And that's what he tells them, is that they can get rich. The same exact thing is going on in penny stocks right now. And like BBIG, people were pumping this thing up. They were talking about how great it is. There's a number of different symbols that I can just remember people pumping up on. And when I would tell people the same thing when they'd bring the stocks up, they would get super upset with me. They did it with CEI. They made fun of me and talked smack and said I had no foresight. And they told me they were gonna come back when CEI was over $5 a share or whatever it was. Now it went bankrupt. It's no longer listed. It's delisted now. And so again, the problem is, like, if somebody's trying to, people might have the best argument in the world. They might come to you and tell you that ABC penny stock is just some cutting edge stock that is going to do crazy big things. And they might even have a good argument for it. But I'm here to tell you, if it's under $5 a share, if it's under $10 a share, if the float is small, it's in a terrible spot. And the odds are so stacked against you, you should never waste your money, right? Even if it's cheap and you think you're going to have a cheap entry, 90% of them will fail, so like don't be gullible. Don't get talked into this, right? This is one of the biggest problems in stocks right now, is penny stocks sell you a dream, and a lot of people fall for it, unfortunately. And then even those communities involved, like, they sit around patting each other on the back, talking about how great the company is. Anybody says anything negative, they get mad at you for it. Like, it's not something that you want to be a part of. Even if you have a small account, most people are going to have much better results buying 1 or 2 shares of blue chip legacy companies or index funds and letting that work over time than they're going to have buying hundreds of shares of a penny stock, All right. Where's GameStop now? Speaking of this stuff. SoFi. I saw on social media a dude lost almost 100% of his life savings because he invested in penny stocks. Yeah, man, people get sold on it. And it really is, like, I use this analogy a lot. It really is like talking somebody out of a pyramid scheme. It really is, right? You ever talk somebody out of a pyramid scheme, they get mad at you for it, right? So if you're holding 1,000 shares of ABC terrible penny stock and somebody like me comes along and says, hey, like, you're going to lose money, you might get mad at me for it, and that's what happens a lot. People, again, confirmation bias is a powerful thing. Like, you wanting something to happen and so you overestimate the likelihood of it happening is a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing with humans in general, and everything, Again, I want to believe I'm going to win the lottery for the next 5 days in a row. Doesn't mean I will, So again, what I said was, if you have, look, you can have stocks under $10, right? But I think where they're risky is number one, I bought AMC based off a nuance. I think AMC is an outlier. I'm not saying I've never bought up companies like that, but there's a difference between buying up AMC, which has hundreds of millions of shares in the float, and buying up SoFi, which has 1 billion plus shares in the float. There's a difference between that versus buying up an obscure penny stock under $5 that has 20 million shares in the float. There's a big difference. Even still, I think even with a larger float, a lot of these are going to fail. I think SoFi got pumped up really big. Really fast. And couldn't sustain. It went up to $24, $25. But SoFi also has over 1 billion shares in the float. And so it's not a small float penny stock that I'm talking about. It's a large float stock. And so basically, like, if you've got 1 billion shares in the float, you can allow your stock price to be under $10 and it might still be a healthy company. if you've got 40 million shares in the float and your stock is under $10, that's a very small company for being a publicly listed company. You know, you got to think about it in terms of like the market cap is the outstanding shares multiplied times price, right? So if we pull up a calculator here, you know, so the market cap, I don't even have to look at the paper here. The market cap of SoFi is $1 billion multiplied times 786 right now. So the market cap of this is about $7.9 billion. It's a multi-billion dollar company for SoFi. If I look at, like, let's say we have a penny stock that has 40 million in the float, and let's say it's $4 a share. You know, this company's only 160 million. It's not a big company at all, right? Publicly wise, like a public company, it still might be doing things, but it's just not a big company. And so the odds are just stacked against you. The way I always say it is, you could buy, if I buy 10 random blue chip legacy companies, like 10 random blue chip legacy companies, let's say Apple, Amazon, Walmart, you know, whatever you want, whatever 10 random legacy blue chip companies that I buy, and I let that portfolio work for 10 years, I'm going to make money most likely in that position, in those positions. It can be 10 random blue chip legacy companies. I'm going to make money most likely. If I buy 10 random low float penny stocks, I'm going to lose on a large majority of it. I'm going to lose so much money on that like portfolio over a 10-year period. And so it's just not worth it. And again, traders get talked into it. It's confirmation bias because they have a tiny amount of money. Say if you got $2,000 and that's all you got to trade with, right? You want to believe that you're going to be able to find diamonds in the rough and take that $2,000 and buy up some penny stocks and make money. And so you overestimate the likelihood of success in it. Can someone explain the carry trade? Is that like the only bear thesis? What is it? The carry trade, the yen carry trade dream is the last couple Fed meetings for Japan were hawkish, meaning they were restrictive in terms of monetary policy, meaning they're pushing higher interest rates, worse interest rates on the Japanese yen. Now, this is bad for stocks in the U.S. to a certain extent because traders in the U.S. like to use the Japanese yen historically for a low interest rate leveraged thing. Like they like using the cheaper interest on the Japanese yen and then using like leveraged based off of that to buy up U.S. assets like stocks and bonds and stuff like that. And so what happened is that when the Bank of Japan pivoted to more hawkish stance, a higher interest rate stance on the Japanese yen, a lot of the people that were buying U.S. assets with the yen ended up panicking and unloading those positions because they were going to get worse leverage. It was going to be more expensive to use that leverage on the yen. And so they started unloading their U.S. positions, which caused this little flash crash that we got back here. So, right, like this little flash crash was from the Japanese yen right here. I'm pretty sure this was it. I'll have to go back and check the dates, but I'm pretty sure this was it at the end of August. We had this little flash crash a month ago. Might have been here. I don't know. I have to go back and look at exactly when it was. But it basically made U.S. investors using the yen panic and sell and unload their position. So it negatively impacted us. And so if you look at the Japanese yen, I'm trying to figure out exactly what the symbol is. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like J. It's like /J something. Chat, help me out. It's the start of August. Okay, yeah, I have to go back and look exactly what it was. So yeah, so this right here was the Japanese yen right here. Or it was the yen carry trade right here. So this big drop from 555s on the SPY down to 510 was that. We rebounded. We bought it up pretty quick, though. Correct, Dream. Yeah, I check bond prices. I check long TLT is long-term bond prices. I like it. I like to look at yields too. So I like to look at like TNX, stuff like that. And generally, lower interest rate environment makes the yields go down, but prices go up for bonds. So Tesla at 258. So Tesla popping up, breaking highs again here. Look at that. All right, chat. Man, people get so old, bro. Life goes by quick, man. Like, I see a lot of people I went to school with. There are a lot of people that, like, I grew up with. You know? Time goes by quick, man. Yeah, that night was crazy. It was chaotic. Honestly, it really is freaking crazy. I'm old too. I'm not judging. Listen, I'm not judging you for your old. I'm just glad I don't have gray hair yet. I'm glad I have my hair, and my hair's not gray yet. You know, but it's coming. All right, like I think I have my dad's hair genes. So like, you know, they say it comes from your mother's father. My mom's dad was bald by 25. You know, but my dad still has hair, and he's over 70. So I think I have his hair genes. But yeah, I'm not judging you. Like I said, some people make bald work. Shout out to, I think Pawn makes it work, you know. Like, you'd always grow the beard and bald head, and that works, you know. Time for a vacation. Dude, honestly, I've gone on too many vacations the last couple months, man. The last 6 months, I have been to Michigan. I've been to Florida. Where else did we go? And I've been to Baton Rouge. So I've done enough vacations for me for the last couple, you know, little bit. Flash crash was made possible due to AI bots. Yeah, maybe. All right, so we're going to start day trading here, chat. And again, we are going to be day trading on Top Step X. We're trying to get funded in this account. And so bear with me. I'm going to buy up this position here. I'm a little bit late in my purchase. So we'll add to it 2 contracts tops. I gotta be careful and be ready to unload this if it doesn't work for me though. All right, so we're flat. We're almost green now. Dog ate my gold watch. And I guess it depends on what kind of watch. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut it. So we just lost a couple hundred there on our challenge account. We're already up 1,000 plus in this account. My hairline corners are getting pushed back. Mine are too, dude. I think everybody has like look, if you see my hairline's still pretty good for my mid-30s, you know. Although this could probably use some work, you know. Like it's going back a little bit, you know. If it ever starts to get really bad, I'm going to Propecia it up, you know. All right, so we're going to buy this dip now, but this is actually a pretty big flash drop. I know, I think Carol and I are going to try to have one more baby, and then I might TRT it up. I don't know. Man. Buy this dip, I gotta cut that too. So we just lost. So I gotta see what this account's up on. So yeah, we're still up over 1,000 in this account. Let's see if it continues. Yes, there's Nvidia down at 124. So Nvidia, the question is, does Nvidia bounce at this previous closing price? That's kind of what I want to bet on here. Is Nvidia at this previous close? Definitely third best hairline in the world right now.
Big little dip here. We'll see if the market can hold out. Yeah, so again, I think Ruggedy, I think one of your biggest misconceptions, Rud, is that,
okay, so you have to understand this, specifically that Nvidia IPO'd at $12 a share. It's just been split multiple times since then. And so, you know, again, this is a big thing where this is what tricks a lot of traders into thinking that penny stocks are more viable than they are. It's because splits happen, right? So after a split happens and you look back at the historicals of a chart, it might look like they were penny stocks, but they weren't, right? Like Nvidia IPO'd at $12 a share. You know, it's just been split since then multiple times. So again, Nvidia IPO was on January 22nd, and it was at $12 a share 30 years ago. And so that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Again, 25 years ago, $12 a share was a lot more as well, right? And we can do that with a lot of these. Let's see, QCOM. Let's see what that IPO'd at. I can get AI to answer it. I'm trying to get AI to do it. Okay, so QCOM might have been a penny stock. Let me see. But again, it was a penny stock 40 years ago. Again, it's just a different thing, man. So we actually just made some of our money back. So we're actually green on the day in this account that we lost some money on, just to show you my string of trades here. It's a good conversation, though. I'm not saying there's never any good stocks, right? Look at this good string of trades. I'm not saying there's never any good stocks. What I'm saying is that a lot of those, like Amazon, I'm pretty sure never was a penny stock either. Yeah, Amazon IPO'd at $18 a share. Never a penny stock. It's just been split so much since then. Again, another example of that. I'm pretty sure Tesla was the same, but I might be wrong. Tesla IPO'd at $17 a share. It's just been split a lot since then. So again, and this is the biggest misconception, is that a lot of traders look at the historicals of a chart, but they don't take into account splits. Again, Tesla was $17 a share when it IPO'd. But if I look at Tesla's long-term chart, you know, it looks like Tesla was $1. It was never a penny stock. And again, the problem is traders that don't really look at splits and understand it, they think that all stocks start off like this, and then somehow they just grow to be a big boy one day. And that's just not the case. Most stocks that are actually under $5 are incredibly weak in a really bad spot. You know, so it's misleading to think that Tesla started off as a penny stock, that Amazon started off as a penny stock. Most healthy companies do not start off as penny stocks. You know, I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying that none of them ever happen, but still, like, you got to look at it with that in mind. So we did get this big rebound back up. Okay, so yeah, actually, let me clarify. Okay, so yeah, let me clarify. Qualcomm IPO'd at $16 a share, so it was never a penny stock either. It's just split adjusted. MU, let me check MU. Yeah, MU IPO'd in 1984. Its IPO price was $14 a share. So again, this is the bit, like, again, please everybody listen to what I just said. It's really important for people to understand this. People get so wrapped up in penny stocks. They think that they're buying up stuff like this. Almost every stock that Ruggedy mentioned, MU, QCOM, Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, AMD, none of these stocks were ever penny stocks.
You know, they've just been split since then, and that influences the historical chart when you look at it. It's really important for people to understand this, because people look at stocks like Amazon, and if they look at the history of like Tesla and they see $1 a share, in their mind they're going to say, oh, well, some of these penny stocks are $1. Maybe they're going to be the next Tesla. And again, that's just not the case. Same thing with Amazon. If I look at Amazon, oh, it's 7 cents a share. No, it's been split over and over and over again since then. It was never anywhere close to this. And so most healthy companies never, ever are penny stocks. They're just not. And so, again, you got to really understand it. Like, think about a healthy company IPOing today. Facebook IPO'd what, in like 2011? Right? It was never a penny stock. It IPO'd at $15, $16 a share, wherever it was. Never looked back. Never got anywhere close to being a penny stock. And so I'm not trying to rant about this. It's just important to protect traders in that regard from buying up crap. Yeah, I thought that list looked a little suspect, but the problem is that, again, and it's all good. Like I said, I hope you guys understand. But traders get sold on this dream of investing in penny stocks, and they are the worst companies in the world, right? Like, people lose their life savings. I might sound like a broken record. I might repeat this. It's important for people to hear. Like, you buying up penny stocks is not doing anything, right? Like you might get really lucky. They're almost all crap. And again, no matter who tells you they're not, no matter like what you, people ignore a lot of red flags with confirmation bias. You know, and the crazy thing is, like, I would imagine a lot of these guys are losing money, right? A lot of these people pushing penny stocks, trying to sell people in this dream of investing in penny stocks, are probably losing boatloads of money. Can you explain the impact of the Dixie going down? The dollar index generally moves inversely with markets, I would say, depending on what the data shows. Though the dollar index is going to benefit from high inflation and probably go down from low inflation as it did, right? So with lower inflation data, what does that mean? It means less spending. The dollar's going down from it. You know, that's the nuance in the market today. Yeah, it's worth repeating. I try to repeat the things that I think are important. Again, if I'm going to make money running this live stream, I feel like I should be honest, and that's as honest as I can get with people, you know. I would consider penny stocks any stock with a float under 500 to 600 million, under $10. You know, that's usually like that's usually the line of like where the company goes from like somewhat risky to really, really risky. If it's under 500 mil in float, so if it's less than 500 mil in float and it's less than $10 a share. That's where I draw my specific line, is this. You know, because again, under 500 million is generally a very small market cap company relative to others, and under $10 shares usually pretty weak. You know, like people mention AMC, a lot of these stocks have, you know, a lot of these stocks are not good either, but you know. And again, I'm not saying there's never any good stocks that start off at penny stocks, but imagine how hard it is to find examples of it, and think about the statistic, like the probabilities that you're going to be able to do that yourself. It's pretty low, you know. Right at IPO at 35. Yeah, every cannabis stock is a penny stock. Well, the problem with cannabis, and again, I'm pro legalization. I think that our tax dollars are getting wasted prosecuting cannabis stuff. Right. I think that cannabis is an objectively less harmful drug than alcohol, and alcohol causes much worse like physical dependence and withdrawals, and you know, ultimately much more problems from alcohol. Yet it's sold at gas stations, and cannabis is somehow demonized, and it's a problem. You know, tax money is wasted, and the biggest lobbyists are law enforcement, and so it's like, of course they're lobbying against it because they make money by arresting people for it. You know, the other argument is that it's a gateway drug is a silly argument as well. The reason it's a gateway drug is because you got to go to an illegal drug dealer to get it. And eventually he's going to say, hey, well, you want to try this? Right? And thus, it's a gateway drug, right? Legalize it, regulate it, throw it up in dispensaries. It's not going to be that system. It's not going to be that illegal drug dealer system that, you know, and I'm telling you, that's how it goes. Like, the reason it's a gateway drug is because you have to go to an illegal drug dealer to get it. And, you know, they sell other stuff, right? They're going to offer you other stuff, and thus, you're going to try other stuff. You know, if it was legalized, regulated, it wouldn't be nearly as harmful as it is today. But again, that's a topic people don't want to touch on, you know. You know, even if you are religious, right? An easier way to put it is like, even if you're religious, you know, do you think if there was a God, again, I'm not going to go into that. I'm neutral on that subject. But if there was, do you think he'd rather, like, for pain relief, for all that stuff, do you think he would rather an organic thing coming out the earth or some super synthetic thing that humans have made? You know, people are just kind of talked into it. But anyways, we're going to trade the opening bell today, guys. Opening bell today. Definitely top 3 worst takes in the world right now for me. PCE data came out better than expected, lower than expected. All right, chat. So, yeah, we're going to be day trading live today, so stick around. All right. Here we go. Now, Powell doesn't speak today. Powell speaks Monday. Yeah, again, it's not that I'm saying if. I'm not going to talk about what I believe, to be honest, because I don't think what I believe is relevant. And I try to avoid religion, avoid politics, regardless of what I believe, you know. So again, I respect whatever you believe. It's all love here. Yeah. The closest I'll come to saying anything about that is I believe you genuinely get what you put out there. If you put out negativity, harassment, criticism, you're going to get all that stuff back tenfold. If you put goodness out there, you get good stuff back, you know. And I think regardless of what you believe, I think that's true. So I just try to put goodness out there. If you're willing to wait, private investors can really make a lot of getting in before they go public. Yeah, finding some good companies is hard. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying nothing ever dipped under. Like, look, I'm talking about the biggest, weakest stocks are stocks that started off big and then dipped down under $5. Those are usually really risky. Although, if you could pick the right ones, those can have some goodness, like some good results as well. It just takes time. Yeah, again, guys, I'm just not going to... Y'all don't know what I believe. I promise you, you guys probably don't know what I believe. And again, I'm not going to spread what I believe out there right now. I just, you know, again, I'm neutral. I avoid politics and religion. It's important. Something Elon Musk should understand. you know, but he doesn't. I like Tesla, but the biggest risk regarding it is Elon's too outspoken politically for me. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with anything. I'm saying if you sell things to people, talking about that stuff too much is bad, you know. What a Scientologist would say. Hey, what do y'all think about Linkin Park's new front person? Yeah, it's easy to hindsight trade as well, you know. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's easy for me to criticize. Like I said, I was talking about Super Micro earlier. People were kind of getting upset, and I get it. Like, listen, it's all good. I understand. The fact that you have enough common sense to understand you shouldn't boldly address it speaks volumes. Yeah, I try. You know, if it's market related, I'll touch on it. You know, I just avoid. Like, look, I know some people who you talk to anybody and they're bringing it up, right? And I'm just the opposite. I am neutral. I really, honestly, truthfully, I'm pretty neutral politically. Like, I'm very middle road. Go by policy. You know, and so both sides would dislike me, and so there's no reason to bring it up. Spy at 574 is almost. Let's see if we can continue. Or not before Chester, before the new front person. I can't remember her name. Armstrong, something Armstrong. She doesn't sound bad. People are knocking it, but she doesn't sound bad, I think. Hey, thank you, G. I appreciate the donation, brother. Thanks so much. I'm not sure how much that is, but I appreciate the love. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, bro. But yeah, thanks so much. That is a whopping 24 cents. Hey, thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks. Appreciate the time. You know, I genuinely appreciate it. Thanks so much. I like the new stuff. Yeah, listen, I grew up on Linkin Park. You know, again, I grew up in the 90s. And so I grew up with, like, Linkin Park. I grew up with, like, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit. You know, they've grown on a lot of people modern age. I used to get made fun of in the early 2000s for listening to Limp Bizkit. I grew up with like Linkin Park, like Puddle of Mud, Stained, you know, all of them. I grew up listening to them. You know, the 90s were a time, man. Like, even R. Kelly. R. Kelly, people give him hate, and I get it. Like, he's a terrible human, it looks like. But his albums, you know, the I Wish albums, everybody had that album. Everybody had the DMX album in the 90s. This was when, like, CD stores were still a thing. You used to go to CD stores. All right, I'm in a position right now. Nvidia right at the previous closing price. I'm buying this dip, see if we can make some money. Coolio. That's earlier than me. Hey, thank you, man. We appreciate it. I never had Coolio's album. Coolio only had like one good song that I know of. Now, I had like, if we're talking about rap, I had DMX. So I remember having like DMX. I'm trying to think of all the old albums. I had Green Day for sure. I had The Offspring. I love The Offspring. I had the Blink-182 albums. I had the Nelly album, Country Grammar. You know, I remember that one. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. So we just made about 50 bucks just now, riding this little pop. Let me see. I had the Wu-Tang Clan, Enter the Wu-Tang. I had Dr. Dre's The Chronic and The Chronic 2. Great albums. Everybody had All Eyes on Me from Tupac. What else we got? I had the Slim Shady LP for sure. I had Marshall Mathers LP as well. UGK, everybody had UGK too. I'm from the South, right? So I'm from like a music hub in Baton Rouge is where I'm from. Chocolate Starfish, yeah, I had that one. Yeah, Chili Peppers were good. Alien Ant Farm was good. You know, their songs like Movies, like they have that song Movies. They've got some good stuff. Alien Ant Farm, they're good too. Ja Rule's album was good, man. I like Ja Rule's album, man. People hate on him nowadays, but that the album with that had like the red in it. I can't remember what it was. Let me see. Rule 336, the 2000 album was good. That was his best one, you know. And speaking of him, Get Rich or Die Trying was good too. Yep, I knew Mike Jones. Yeah, Mike Jones was good. Again, I grew up in the South, so Mike Jones was big. Everybody listened to him. I met him once. I've told this story before. I met him. I used to work at the Airport Marriott in Houston, and so I would see some people come in. I saw 2 Chainz, met 2 Chainz. I saw Mike Jones came in, and he had his name listed as a different name. It wasn't his name, but when we all looked, but the girl and I at the like the cashier, the hostess, came to me and she was like, "Hey, John," she was like, "Doesn't that look like Mike Jones?" And he was skinnier. He was much skinnier than he used to be. Like he used to be a little thick. He had lost some weight, you know. So, but it was Mike Jones. He had big old glasses on, you know. But it was him. But he came to the bar and he was with a girl, very pretty girl, you know. And he didn't talk at all, and I didn't want to be like fanboying him, like, "Hey, Mike Jones." But she tipped me really well, and they were all really nice. And he said thank you, and I think he had like a shot of Patron or two, a couple shots of Patron. And so he did that and left. You know, that was it. After data, how Dow will go and it bank stocks. I have no idea. I don't know what the Dow is going to do. I don't know what bank stocks are going to do. This data ultimately means lower inflation. So lower inflation data. It's going to be more of an argument to cut rates aggressively. And so, yeah. So lower inflation data is going to mean less of a need to cut rates aggressively, or more of an argument for rate cuts. They're going to say, hey, inflation's under control. We can continue to cut rates and bring interest rates back down. And so this might be more optimistic for the economy moving forward because of lower rates. Again, NVIDIA, and I'm assuming like the Dow. What's the Dow symbol? It's like, it's YM, right? Yeah, so the Dow is right here. Wait. Here's the Dow. Dow at 4260s. It's kind of moving sideways as well. You know, it's up a little bit today. We'll see if it holds these gains. I really don't know. I appreciate the donation, but I really don't know. Back then, they didn't want them. Yeah. 2A1, 330. Yeah. Fire. Yeah, that was a mess. Well, everybody screamed out Mike Jones, if it makes you feel better, Daphne, in the early 2000s, or the mid and early 2000s. It was like it's hard to explain, but everybody did it. Everybody that listened to it did it. PC numbers were good, Courtney. They were good-ish. They were lower than expected, which is good. It means lower inflation data. So yeah, lower inflation data ultimately allowed. It's going to allow the Fed to cut rates more aggressively. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. Looking at our polling numbers for Fed decisions here. We're still pretty split on whether we're going to do 25 the next meeting or 50. 52% think we're going to do 50 basis points. 48% think we're going to do 25. So, no, you got it wrong. It goes, Cobra, you got it wrong, bro. It goes, Fofos, I'm tipping. Wood grain, I'm gripping. Catch me lane swipping with the paint dripping. You know? I had to look it up. I didn't actually know that. I remember the quote, though, but I thought you got it wrong, and you did. You know? One of the craziest concerts I had to work with them was ICP release show, Ozfest, that had all the... Yeah, I'm sure. They were crazy, man. Back in the day, those movies were fun. We're almost able to watch them with my daughter now. Some of them, not all of them for sure. Craziest stunt was Ryan Dunn in the toy car. Craziest one ever. That's the one where I remember, like, that was the one that had me cracking up the most. Anyway, SPY consolidating sideways mostly. So we're mostly sideways consolidating. We got 8 minutes. Everyone wants the market to crash and it keeps going up. Yeah. Again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. We are day trading futures. In the futures market, I can day trade short, buy market, sell market, buy the bid, sell the ask in futures. No PDT rule in futures. I can day trade short, all that good stuff. No PDT restrictions. And Top Step is one of the most legit funded programs in the world. They give you a demo. They test your skill with the demo first. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. So what the edge is there is that it limits your risk. Instead of risking, you know, multiple $1,000s for your first account funding your own account, you can instead risk $49 a month. If you pass it, you get a 90% split and $50K in funding for the base one. You can also get a more expensive one with more funding. But if you fail it, you only lose that monthly subscription. And they paid out over $40 million. They fund thousands of traders. It's a great way to learn how to day trade. And in the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, some currencies, gold, the Dow, the Russell, you know. And again, that's a powerful edge. That's a powerful edge. The other benefit here is that you can trade micro contracts. So you can take these little small micro contract trades, and there's 74 cents in fees per trade. Like, you can kind of see this list of micro contracts. I can make $10, $8, $3, $2, $6 profit net still with those small trades, and that's a big edge. That means I can get funded, lower my size with micro contracts, have almost nothing to pay in terms of fees and commissions, and build up small amounts of profit and grow a cushion in my account, and that's a big edge. Again, in my opinion, it's the biggest edge in funding right now. So if you want to check it out, I'll put the link up again. They are sponsored. They pay me money. I'm definitely biased for sure because they pay me money. But if you want to check it out, here's the link. Yeah, man. Steve-O got sober. I'm happy for him, man. You know, coming from someone who a lot of my friends struggled with substance abuse. You know, if you ever see the tattoo on my right arm, right, this right arm, I had like a really close friend that I grew up with. And, you know, when he was alive, we would always, like, maybe we were, like, drinking, and we would be like, hey, man, if anything ever happened to you, I'd get you tatted on me, is what we would say, you know. And then, you know, rest in peace. He ended up passing away. And so, you know, I followed through with it and got him. But yeah, I've had a lot of friends that have struggled from it. It's a tough, again, Baton Rouge is a different place. I don't know if Houston's much better, but yeah, it's a different thing. You know, it's a different thing, and it's a scary world. So I'm happy to see. It's even scarier now, you know, with like all the crazy stuff going on nowadays. But it's good to see Steve-O get sober. You know, it really is. Again, the SPY is still sitting pretty close to lifetime highs. It could break it. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that, Mars. Too controversial for me, bro. All right, so we might buy this dip again. Oh, wait, we're in the Dow. Oh, no. Here, I guess I'll let my Dow trade play out. I don't ever really trade the Dow. I guess I could buy the dip in the Dow, too, and see if that works out. I'll add to it, see if we get 2 contracts. See if we pop up a little bit. I'm not used to trading the Dow, but I'll try. Again, the futures market, you can day trade. There's no PDT rule. It looks like the Dow has almost a smaller range. We'll go and take half of that in. Oh, we didn't actually profit, but we got a nice little cushion now I guess we could use. We'll let it work a little bit more. The SPY's right at the volume weighted average price. I'm not moving. I'm already living in all right, so we just made a $30 trade there. I'm gonna switch over from the Dow. I don't know, actually I might try trading the Dow at the open. What do you guys think? Does anybody here day trade the Dow in the futures? But no, I already live in if you're talking about the house purchase that I just made, it's an investment property. But I already live in Houston. Or not Houston. I live around Houston. I'm not going to be super specific, but will we see 2008 crash in November? No, not really. I don't think. I think the real estate market's not the same. Like prior to 2008, the real estate market was booming. You know, too many people were getting mortgages and loans. I think right now interest rates are high and they've been restricted for a years now. And so I don't think we're in the similar situation to 2008. I'm not saying we don't crash, but I think the nuance of markets right now is different than it was in 2008. It's much different. Like the reasons for potential weakness. I think if the market crashes, it's going to look something like. I think if the market crashes, it's going to look something like Nvidia having like a deep pullback and dragging the rest of the market with us. You know, so like I think it's going to look something like Nvidia coming down to like $60, $70 a share and it tanking the rest of the market happen. But I think if we're talking about stock market crashes, I think that's what it would look like right now. I don't think it would have much to do with real estate. I think if anything, real estate interest rates are going down, not up. And the Fed's cutting the Fed reserve rate, even though it's not as easy to influence mortgages as people think. But the Fed is cutting rates. By the end of this year, we'll probably at least do a full percentage point in cuts in 2024. So in theory, that might bring interest rates down and cause more spending in real estate to occur, and real estate prices might go actually up, not down. But I'm not 100% sure. You know, we're all just guessing. Yeah, I already live in the surrounding area. I've been here for a while, like over a decade, you know. You live around River Oaks? No. River Oaks, bro. That's like super snobby area. Yeah, I don't live there. It's too expensive. Tesla up though. Tesla's still moving up. The Dow's testing highs right now. I'm gonna switch to the Nasdaq. We tried the Dow a little bit. All right, there's the market open, chat. There's the opening bell. Let's see if we get anything good today. Look at this big drop on the Nasdaq at the opening bell. Big dip. Nvidia now under the previous closing price, technically red on the day, down to 124s. SPY break it down. It's at 573.20s. All right, sorry for the loud typing. Big drops. All right, so we ended up buying this dip and oof, nasty pullback here. Somehow we ended up making about $70 there, but it was volatile for a minute. Yeah, I'm trying to see where we're at in this account so far. Yeah, so we're up 1,600 in this account. The goal is to get to 3K. Hey, later, Freddie. All right, so we got this big drop. I do want to buy it up. I got to let time play out a little bit more. Look at Tesla shooting up at the opening bell, guys. Look at Tesla. I'm going to put Tesla up on the bottom right. Tesla up to 259s, 258s. So Tesla just shot up. Oh, yeah, we got Michigan consumer sentiment data today. I forgot. We're going to cover that for sure. So we just bought this dip. Just made another $120 there. You love to see it. Google popping up. Tesla moving up. Everything looks good so far. All right, so now we're getting this big rise. All right, I'm shorting now in the NASDAQ 100. We built up a nice little cushion. Just made another $60 there, taking the trade. Good little string of trades here, day trading so far. All right, so we're going to switch to our actual 50K funded account. We didn't end up trading anymore on this yesterday, but going to switch to the micro NASDAQ. There's the micro. We were shorting it. We were late on the short. I will cover this pretty soon. I'm going to add to this. See if we get a breakdown. Back down, almost flat. Nvidia's down at the lows. There we go. Took half off there. Locked it in. There we go. Just made another 20 or so. So not too bad. I'm going to short at the very top up here. 2 contracts. I'm going to start scaling up to a couple contracts at least. We're flat so far. Took half off there. Profited a little bit. Just made another couple bucks. So profiting there. And again, this is the big edge from Top Step. It really is, right? Like, if you want to get max value from Top Step, there's a couple ways to approach it, right? Number one is when you're trying to get funded, you got to take some risk. And so using micro contracts is probably too small when you're trying to get funded, unless you're only like $300, $400, $500 away from your target of $3,000. Then you can use micros to where you can use bigger contracts first and then scale down to micros as you get close, so you can really limit your risk and be risk averse as you get close to it. Once you're funded, there's no commissions on Top Step X. And so you want to use Top Step X, and there's no commission, so I can trade micro contracts, and it's only 74 cents in fees per trade. That's a powerful thing. And so once you're actually funded, you can trade up to 5 micro contracts. That's plenty of size. You can make $50 to $100 a day or more and build up a really nice cushion. And that's how you stay alive on Top Step, have the best edge of staying funded and actually taking a withdrawal, in my opinion. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, of course, you know. If you want to check them out, here's the link. All right, so we are breaking down a little bit. I'm going to start buying this up. 1 contract. 2 contracts here. Oof, I'm trying to catch a falling knife here is the problem, and it's just too risky. I'm gonna have to cut this pretty soon. Yeah, I gotta get out. I thought I clicked it. I was too late. Eh. Yeah, it's this really weird nuance where I do really well with regular E-mini contracts, but not very good with micro contracts recently. I think it has to do with discipline and patience. Like, I'm more willing to add to positions here. There's 3 contracts. There we go. Almost popping up. There we go. Made about 20 bucks, and now we're breaking down again. I want to see if we bounce some more, though. We could. There we go. Took some more off. Gonna add to this now. See if we get a bounce. I want to be patient with it. There we go. All right, so we just made most of that money back, so that's nice. Can you share the jazz playlist? Yeah, I'll try to find it, bro. Here, I got you. Hold on, let me try to find it. I think this is it. I'm not 100% sure, though. Yeah, here it is right here. It's not all jazz, right? It's got some jazz on it, but it's not pure jazz. Alright, so yeah, we got some jazz playing. Alright, let me, I'll have to mute the jazz music for a second. Make sure the background is muted. So again, we did have some breakdowns in the NVIDIA chart, and this is really what I'm looking at, although we kind of have these bull flag like nature of it, I think, right now. Yeah, my computer sounds like a freaking rocket ship. Right, so we're pulling back down again. I might start buying this dip up again. Let me see. 2 contracts. Man, what a drop. I want to see if we retrace back up, but man, I'm going to have to limit my risk here. Cut a piece of this off down here at these lows. I sold half of the position there, just so I could be a little bit more loose on the rest. We're kind of back and forth flat on the day. Oh man, so I'm trying to work on something else in the background, but man, we're just getting fast red action here. Back to flat. Let's see if we can pop up some more. We got a higher low here if we could just hold, but Yeah, we've still been green to this account, but definitely not had the best few days of price action. I like that retracement. There we go. Almost flat here. Oof. Took a risk. I'm going to have to limit this loss. 2 contracts. Now we're green. Tesla's starting to bounce up a little bit. Tesla's been very strong. It's just been struggling down here for too long. Like I see Nvidia starting to move up, but it looks like something else is turning it. And I don't want to be too brash with it and cut it too early, because I think it's still got some time. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. All right, so yeah, we just made everything back there. So good little string of trades here. You can kind of see the string of trades. We made $13, $25, $15, $6, $30 loss, $5 loss, $12 gain, $13 gain, $9.50 gain, $20 gain basically. So doing okay this morning. Not easy for sure. A little choppy. Nvidia started to move up towards the volume weighted average price. This playlist here, yeah. Or here, I can't share it to you for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Let me see. It depends on what email. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I'll share it with you. All right, so still breaking down more here. I'll wait. There's the playlist. Do you think stock market moves in conjunction with crypto? Sometimes, not always though. Yeah, not always. It can. It's just not always. Sometimes. Oh yeah, we got University of Michigan consumer sentiment data. All right, Chad. So yeah, consumer sentiment data.
Yeah, so we got the consumer sentiment index data out. Uh, all right, so yeah, PCE data's out. Looking at one thing. One more report. All right. Ever since rate cuts, especially. Yeah, back to good news being good. Yeah, it's goodish. Like, we'll see, you know. We've had some pretty good results trading. We're going to see if we can get some better results now. All right, we got one contract. Now we're down. I'm going to try to let this play out, only add to winning trades. So I'll wait for it to be winning first. I don't want to add to losing. All right, so we just added to a winner. Let's see if that works. All right, took a piece off. Took another piece off, just made another 20. So good little string of trades here. Like, we're getting, you know, we're getting into our rhythm. I'm going to start to short a larger trade here. There's a lot of multi-spot. I'm going to trade with the profit that we've already made and add like a larger position here. We've got multiple big resistance levels above us everywhere. So I'm going to start taking 4 contracts here. There we go. Boom. All right. All right, yeah, we just made another 50, 60 bucks just now, taking that short. We were going to take larger positions, but starting to build up profit on the day. Let me see what I'm up on the day. This is my actual funded account, too. Yeah, we're up like 100 bucks on the day. That's nice. Up everywhere. We're not down anywhere. All right. I'm going to pivot away from this account to, now that we're green, trying to get funded in a different account now. And then we're going to pivot to the regular NQ. Same concept here. We're going to try to get close to funding in this account. Two contracts here. There we got 2 contracts again. Took some profit. All right, got out of the rest. So nice. Yeah, that's in 10 minutes we got Michigan consumer sentiment. I'm trying to see how much I'm up here in this account. We're up to almost $2,000 in profit on this one. We got to make 3. So just made another 100 or so. We're very close. This should give us, yeah, we're up 2,000 now. This should give us I want to get up to really another $500 in profit. So I'd like another 5. I want to get another 500 in profit if I can. Bad fill.
All right, just made another $130, $135 in profit. Here's my string of trades so far today, just to show you guys it. We have had 1, 2, 3 losses out of 20 trades. You know, it's very good accuracy so far today. Very good. Data comes out at 10 o'clock. It's not really big data. Like today's data release is not really huge. Oh yeah, my music is still off. My bad. I've been listening to it in the background. I'm gonna wait. Again, my short thesis was correct. Again, why am I shorting? Why have I been shorting a lot? The question is, why have I been shorting? I've been shorting a lot because Nvidia moves the market. And even if I'm trading futures, right? I'm trading the NASDAQ. But Nvidia moves the market. And so if Nvidia breaks down, the market's going to break down. And what makes Nvidia more probable to break down? It's got a bunch of milestone levels above us. Volume weighted average price resistance, 200 EMA resistance, previous closing price resistance, all bundled up right above where we currently are. And so we're also ahead of economic data, so Michigan consumer sentiment data. So the likelihood that Nvidia is going to gain momentum and strength and break over all these levels prior to the inflation or prior to the consumer sentiment data coming out is pretty low, right? I'm not saying it's impossible. It could certainly happen. It's just I just think in that situation, we're trying to find an edge. And I think in that situation, the edge makes sense where we've got big levels above us, potential for a breakdown. And I think it works really, really well. Again, I can't guarantee anything, though. Not an investment professional. Maybe I suck. You know, I have no idea. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes left. I'm going to mute the music. I want to check something real quick. All right, guys, consumer sentiment data drops soon. It's weird. Like, I don't know if I'm like lagging or what, but like, it's hard for me to watch some of this. Let me take this and go to I don't know if YouTube. Ouch. All right, so we're still heading up. All right, chat. Here we go. So consumer sentiment data drops in 5 minutes. We're still getting that red breakdown that we thought we would. All right. All right, guys. All right, that makes sense. All right, cool. Let me unmute the music. All right, Chad, here we go. Still getting that breakdown like I suggested we might. All right, guys. So all right, so we did get that big breakdown as we suggested. We're still kind of just waiting. The data's imminently coming out. It's not really a big report. We'll see what happens though. No, sorry, I'm running into my foot on the back of this thing. It's hard to explain. I don't know what it's called. It's the little U-shaped thing on the back of it. It's kind of running off, and if I run my foot over it, anyways. Super Micro at 420s. The data's coming out in 2 minutes. Nah, that was my foot. I would call it if I did, to be fair. Shaq. I'm just going to call you Shaq because that's what your name sounds like. I wonder when NVIDIA goes to 105 again. NVIDIA stop hunting. Yeah, honestly, again, like I said, the thesis I had on NVIDIA made perfect sense, which is that we got all these big levels above us. It's very unlikely that with all these big milestone levels above us that NVIDIA is going to fight its way back up. It's going to consequently drag the market back down. Yeah. No, if it was a fart, I'd call it. I'm not saying I've never done that on stream, but that wasn't one. Yeah. We got 40 seconds. All right, guys. So, yeah, consumer sentiment expectations are 2.7% 1 year for inflation expectations. 5-year inflation expectations all the way up to 3.1%. 3.1%. Consumer sentiment's the big one. It's expected at 69 for September, 69. None of this stuff really should move markets, but we'll see what happens, right? This isn't the biggest report of the day, for sure. PCE was much bigger than this. And, again, we'll see if it reports anything good. All right, guys. 3 seconds. Here we go. Let's see what we get. Let's see if it moves. All right, 71 or 70.1, higher than expected consumer sentiment. 70.1 versus 69 expected. 70.1 versus 69% expected. Consumer expectations also higher than expected. Everything was really higher than expected here. Concurrent conditions was higher. Consumer sentiment was higher. Consumer expectations for September were higher. 1 year and 5-year inflation expectations came in neutrally as expected at 2.7% for 1 year, 3.1% for 5 year. So basically everything came in as expected for the most part in terms of inflation expectations, and consumer expectations and sentiment both showed up higher than expected, not lower. So yeah, not too shabby, guys, not too bad. We'll see what happens on the rest. And again, next week is a packed week. I'm also waiting for earnings season to start again. So we're waiting for earnings season to start again. I'm looking at they're all going to be basically all earnings seasons are basically showing up mid to late October is when most of the big boy stocks that you know. Market has moved up a little bit on this report, so you can see it bounce back some here. Again, I'm trying to see what I'm at here. I should, yeah, we're at slightly over 2K in profit. I still don't know if we're going to fight our way back and get over these levels, so I'm going to try shorting 2 contracts. Took a piece off there. Flat. All right, so we just made some money. Our accuracy's got to be pretty good on this account today. Let me see what it is. Yeah. I am at 70.97% accuracy. Today alone, I am at... Yeah, so today alone, I'm at 71% accuracy. I'm up about 600. So on this challenge account, so we started it Monday. Here's my stats so far on this challenge account. This is a Top Step funded account. Again, I'll put this is a Top Step challenge account. I'll put the consumer sentiment. It came in at 70.1 again versus 69.3 expected. But again, so far so good here. This is our account. We are up $2,000 plus, $2,052 today on this one. The other Combine Challenge account I have, we're still slowly growing it. Again, I don't know whether I should shut it down or keep trading. What do you guys think? And again, if you want to check out Top Step, no commissions, small amount of fees. Great way to learn how to day trade. I'll put the link up, or you can find the link in the description if you want to check it out. Again, it's a good platform to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, but as I always say, I am terrible, have no idea what I'm talking about, might be wildly wrong about anything I say. Content is entertainment only. My experiences, wins or losses may be conducted off stream. You might not see all my trades. Do not copy me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. We'll see what happens here. Again, so we're short again. I'm trying to grind this up here. Let me take the disclaimer off. Somehow I got out profitable there, dude. I was down $300. This is how fast NASDAQ. You want to know why it's a powerful thing to use micro contracts once you're funded? Is because I was just down about $400 on that trade. $400 on that trade. And we had this pullback that was so quick that I went from being down like $300 or $400 in that trade to all of a sudden profiting 100 from it. And this is why NASDAQs can be good or bad, really, is because NASDAQ contracts, like if you're not using micros, can move so fast for or against you. Look at this candle. What's going on? That's a candle right there. Look at this thing. That's a big candle. Anybody know what's going on? Am I missing something here? So this is a funded account program on Top Step. They give you a demo test your skill with it. It's $49 a month for the base one, which is the ones I'm using. Look at this candle. This usually means catalyst driven. Like big moves like this are usually not technical. They're usually almost always catalyst driven. Did any big news come out in stocks just now? Anybody know of anything in any specific stocks? Where's Super Micro at? Tesla turned. Super Micro is actually up a little bit today. Google's green too. Google's had a great day. AMD, MU. Maybe it's NVIDIA breaking lows. Maybe we're just choppy, but that's a big candle. Could be market catching up to consumer sentiment. Although consumer sentiment was good. It was higher than expected for consumer sentiment, as expected for inflation expectations. So neutral. It's selling. It's still technically September. Sure. Is this the last day or no? September has one more day on Monday. And Monday we got Powell speaking on the economy again, so I don't know if that's going to help or hurt the market. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, chat. I'm probably just going to get out of here. Hey, I love you all. You'll have a great day. Yeah, I'm just going to bow out for the day. Fun day. We had over 2,000 people here for a split second, I think, so PCE data came in 0.1% lower than expected. Better inflation data than expected. And again, next week, listen, guys, stick around. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Next week, we got a gang of reports. Specifically, we got Jerome Powell speaking on Monday. Jerome Powell's doing a press conference on Monday. We got flash services, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jerome Powell's doing a speech Monday. We got Chicago PMI also Monday. Tuesday, we got the JOLTS report. We got manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI. Oh, wait. Let me look at my FOMC calendar. I think it's Monday. It might be Tuesday. Let me make sure I got this right. Okay, so yeah, Powell speaks Monday. So Powell does speak Monday at 1:55 p.m. for the National Association of Business Economics Forum. He's going to be talking about economic outlook. Okay, so again, Monday of next week, Powell speaks. We also have Chicago PMI. Tuesday, the first day of October, we've got ISM manufacturing PMI and the JOLTS report both dropping at 10 o'clock. Wednesday, we got ADP non-farm employment, basically the prelim payroll numbers. Thursday, we got jobless claims, ISM services numbers, and factory orders. Friday, we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment. That's a busy week next week, guys. Y'all stick around. I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Y'all be good.